Cablevision of Chicago presents from Lanphier Park, Robin Roberts Field in Springfield, Illinois, the 1981 IHSA Class AA Boys Baseball State Finals. Hello, everybody. I'm Bob Waller. Dick Gonski and I are here in Springfield, Illinois for the final series of playdowns for the high school baseball championship. And we have the first of the quarterfinal games for Oak Park River Forest of suburban Chicago, Dick.
We've got two pretty good ball clubs, Bob. Oak Park 27-4 on the year. They are the co-favorites in their bracket. And, of course, they are matched up with Lincoln 21-8 on the year. And Lincoln has to come into this bracket as sort of a sleeper. A lot of people didn't expect Lincoln to be here, and yet here they are with 8 teams to go. And so I think those are the two angles that we might pursue in the ball game today, the team that ought to be there and the team that feels it's lucky to be there.
And there's another kind of an interesting human sidelight, if you would, and that is this is the first time for each coach.
That's right. Jack Kaiser, the coach of Oak Park River Forest, and Sam Madonia of the Lincoln Rail Splitters. And I know you visited with both of those coaches before the game, Bob, so let's take a look at that interview right now.
Edition of the Oxford English Dictionary comes out. Right next to the word persistence, you may find a picture of this man, Jack Kaiser, the head coach of the Oak Park River Forest High School. Jack, it's been a long time.
Can we hear tape?
But after all these years, on your 29th season as head coach of the baseball team, you've made it to the finals. How does it feel?
It feels great. I think it goes with what I always try to preach to the young men, is to never give up. And I've been trying for 28 years, and I finally made it. And I hope that they can make it in just less than 4 years. And if they do that, it'll make me very proud. I hope it doesn't take me another 28 years to get here.
When you approach this game now, of all the games that you've led your team into, this one will be a little different, though, because it is a tournament play. Does that change how you're going to approach it?
It's different, but it's just another ball game. We've got to go out and play ball. If we play like we've played all year long, I think we'll be all right. We hustle, we hit, we field. That's the main thing. If we just keep doing that, we'll be fine. How
much do you know about the opponents that you may meet in this tournament?
I do know that they have a good ball club. The coach is a very good disciplinarian. I read in the paper where he kicked off his 2 best hitters, his 2 leading pitchers. But you can't let that bother you. You just got to go out and play it. We can't say that, well, it's going to be an easy ball game, because it's not going to be an easy ball game.
How about the Huskies? How is their frame of mind?
I think it's a good frame of mind. Our boys approach the game in a professional way. A little bit different than some of the kids I've had before. They go out, if they make an error, they don't let it bother them. They just go out and play the next ball and see that they don't make an error. And they try to build each other up. If they make an error in the field, they may come through and get a triple or a double or maybe a home run. So I think they approach the game very professionally.
Jack, this ball club, this Husky ball club that we're going to see today, no injury problems at all, are there?
We have one young man by the name of Jim Marisi, our catcher, hurt his leg in the only ball game we lost in the conference. He is a little injured, but he's going to play on guts.
I imagine a lot of the guys will be playing on that and emotion, and you probably will be managing on emotion.
Yes, it sure is, because I'm an emotional person anyway, and so we put a lot of emotions into the game.
Good luck to you, Jack. I know it's been a long road, and I hope that it's a nice drive for you.
Thank you very much.
Sam Madonia is also...
And Sam will be opening in Vegas next week. Sam's a pretty good stand-up comic, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, Dick.
Let's take a look at the lineups for the Huskies. Marty Bell will be leading off, and he'll be playing right field. Jim McBride in center, batting second. Tom Hildebrand playing second base and hitting third. Then the big guy at first base, Joe Satari, batting in the cleanup spot. Frank Gimarisi, the catcher, will bat fifth. Tom Colzo, the shortstop, will hit sixth. Jeff McCormick in left field will bat seventh. Mark Carroll, the third baseman, will hit eighth. And Mark Cirkland will be the designated hitter for pitcher Pat McCune. You heard Sam Madonia say he is unbeaten, and McCune is the number 2 pitcher on the staff. So Oak Park River Forest in pretty good shape coming into this ball game.
Dick, we're ready to go on this ball game. Marty Bell will lead it off, hitting .427, a right-handed hitter against the right-handed pitcher, Mike Steinkamp, who just worked in the last Lincoln game. The first pitch is a curveball in there for a strike, says home plate umpire Harold Kopus. Vic Beeler is the ump at first, and Thomas Holba is the umpire at third. We have a one-strike count just underway on Cablevision of Chicago with a quarterfinal game from Springfield. Pitch is up high, a ball and a strike. Ray steps out, looks down at his coach. Steinkamp delivers inside, 2 balls and a strike. The pitching problems here for Sam Madonia and his Lincoln Rail Splitters are immense because of the 4 people that he asked to leave the team because of rule violations, 2 were regular pitchers. And they're down to just 2 pitchers, both of whom worked in the game they had to win to get here, and they won that yesterday. The pitch is up high, so it's 3 balls and a strike.
Well, Marty Bell is doing what most good leadoff men like to do, and that is take a good long look at that first time around the order at the starting pitcher. He's drawn the count to 3-1. Give the other hitters a chance to look at what.
Steinkamp's been mostly breaking pitches, and that's a breaking pitch fouled off out of play. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So the count goes full on Marty Bell. No relation to the major leaguer Buddy Bell.
Bob, we should talk about this ballpark. It is a beautiful ballpark. Nice facilities. The distances are very, very fair for both sides and for a high school player. 320 down the lines, 415 to dead center, 350 in right center, and 375 out in near the center field fence.
Came with a fastball at 3-2, and it's lined softly to the second baseman Nice for out number 1, and we're underway with the first man down for Oak Park River Forest. And here is Jim McBride hitting .458 coming to the plate. Quickly set the defense for you. Mike Steinkamp is the pitcher. Rainforth behind the plate. Ron Wolford is at third base. Bunner at short. Heimer at second. Watson is at first. Shea in right. Terry Wolford, the brother of the third baseman, is in center field. And Nice is in left. So we have 1 out in this quarterfinal game of the first inning of play from Springfield. Curve is up high, ball 1. We'll be following Oak Park throughout their play here in the final tournament. This is a quarterfinal game. If they win today, they will go against Limestone in a game that we will have for you on Cablevision. And if they would win that, they would then play the championship. Pitch is a called strike, 1-1, and Dick, Mike Steinkamp likes to throw that breaking pitch. He's really leaned on it.
Yeah, he really does, and it's interesting. You know, when you get to this level of competition and get this far in the state AA tournament, you have to have pretty decent pitching somewhere along the way.
Here's a 1-1, another curve. This one a big break. 2 balls and a strike.
Interesting, you mentioned that Limestone would be the opponent of the winner of this game, and they were the runners-up for the championship just a year ago in Class 2A, so it's a very solid, experienced Limestone club coming back tomorrow.
2-1 pitch. He hit him in on the fist. The shortstop, Bunner, has to charge the ball. The play close, but they get him. 2 down.
You know, frequently, Bob, teams that get to tournaments like this and go this far generally have one really outstanding pitcher, but I think the teams that are going to win it or really get to the finals are the teams with that second good starting pitcher and the team that plays good defense, that doesn't beat themselves on the field. I think those are the 2 things I would look for as we watch this game today.
Both teams kind of pride themselves, Dick, on being fundamentally sound. Pitch is swung on and missed by Tom Hildebrand, a .369 hitter. He's the second baseman. Mike Steinkamp is a junior. Very young Lincoln team. Curveball hit deep. Look out, that ball's got a charge in it. It's at the wall. It's in the net. A home run. Tom Hildebrand breaks one out of here, and the entire Oak Park River Forest team is on the field to greet him at home as he grabs a 1-0 lead for Oak Park River Forest. The Huskies in front on a real charge shot.
Bob, it looked like a change-up curveball that hung upstairs, and he really got all of it into the left field net.
Nice, the left fielder, took a couple of breaks back and then just stopped and watched it. So a tough break here for Mike Steinkamp, and a good one for the Huskies. Not much of a break, actually. That was a ton. That ball really hit. About 340 to where that ball was hit. Up into a net in left field. There's a strike called to Joe Satari, the first baseman. He leads this team in home runs with 7.
He's a big kid. You can see that. He is a huge kid batting in the cleanup slot.
Pitch down low, ball and a strike. '20th run batted in on the season for Hildebrand, and it takes his team to an early lead. There's a line shot into left field for a base hit, and taking the big turn is Satari, and he'll hold on there. 2 hits in a row, both really stung, Dick.
He really waited on the ball well and then wristed it to left field, and it doesn't look like Steinkamp is fooling those 3 and 4 hitters in the lineup. Hildebrand really jumped on the curveball that hung up there, and it looked like maybe the ball Satari hit also had a little bit off of it in the change of speed variety, and they're not being fooled. This is Jim Arisi, the young catcher, and it looks like the Huskies swing the bats pretty well, Bob, if the first inning is any indication.
Another indication, too, might be their .357 team batting average. That's a pretty healthy clip for anybody at any level. Runner leads at first, and Jim Arisi showed the bunt. With 2 outs here, he would be bunting only because the third baseman is deep and he would be trying to get a base hit. However, he is a .411 hitter. He does have some power. He's the catcher. 31 runs batted in, second on the Husky ball club. Throw to first, and diving back in time is Satari. First baseman is Watson, Tom Watson. Mike Steinkamp on the mound. There's a pitch for a strike. That looked like more like a slider than a curveball, so it's 2 strikes, but it's still all breaking stuff. And here is a young man on the mound, a junior, Steinkamp, who had to throw 3 2/3 innings yesterday in order for them to win their game to get here. So he's coming back on 0 days rest. Runner goes, ball hit into the air into right field. Chasing it is Shea, has a play on it in the sun. Very difficult sun field out there in right at the moment. He makes the play, and the side is retired. 1 run on 2 hits. 1 runner is left. We go to the bottom of the first inning. Oak Park River Forest 1. Lincoln's Rail Splitters coming to bat. I think that the Huskies here, who now will be warming up Pat McCune, have a good hitting team, but this Lincoln team, the Rail Splitters, have kind of had to band together to overcome adversity, so I doubt if they're going to be really overawed by 1 run.
Well, you know, Bob, so many times, I know you and I have seen it, teams that lose their star or a couple of players that are critical to their success seem to band together and rally around each other, and maybe that's the thing that Lincoln will do today. I think that that's probably what is in Jack Kaiser's mind, the coach of the Oak Forest River Forest Club. Let's take a look at the Rail Splitters of Lincoln. Terry Wolpert in center field leading off. His brother Ron, the third baseman, bats second. Vince Rainforth, the catcher, is third. Scott Neese out in left field is fourth. Tom Watson plays first base and bats fifth. Rob Clark, the designated hitter, is sixth. Greg Eimer at second base bats seventh. Todd Bunner, the shortstop, is eighth. And Tim Shea out in right field, ninth. Mike Steinkamp, the starting pitcher for Lincoln.
Terry Wolpert, left-handed hitter, about to step in. We cannot give you any statistics here for Lincoln. They were such a surprise that they were in here, they just couldn't get their statistics
They surprised
together.
the statisticians.
Yes,
huh?
and we have no information as to who's hitting what or anything on Lincoln. So you'll just have to do without that bit of information. Pat McKean on the mound, and his first pitch is up high, ball 1. We can look at Terry Wolpert and say that he is of average or less height, which is going to give a small strike zone for McKean to throw to. Fastball rides up and away. 2 balls and no strikes, and that's something that Jack Kaiser will be intent on, and that is the control of his pitchers. Pat McKean worked 81 innings, more than anybody on his team. It's an earned run average of 3.01. up high, 3-0.
You're getting to the point of durability there, Bob, and I think Lincoln's job is a monumental one because of the rain out that we had this week. They were forced to wait until yesterday, as you mentioned, to play the game, to get here. They play again today, and if they win, they continue with maybe 2 tomorrow. It's very difficult.
Terry Wolpert draws a walk, and now following him to the plate will be his brother Ron Wolpert. Brother act here. 4 straight pitches by McCune, and that's the first walk of the game.
Infield at double play depth out there, the shortstop and second baseman, Colzo and Tom Hildebrand, cheating toward the middle just a bit.
Ron Wolpert to throw to first by McCune. Jim Arisi is behind the plate. Satari at first, Hildebrand at second, Colzo is at short, and Carroll is at third. McCormick in left, McBride in center, and Bell in right field. Another throw, and this time going in standing up is Wolpert. A run in the top of the first by Oak Park on an electric home run by Tom Hildebrand. There goes the runner. The curveball is inside. Here's the throw. It's strong, but not in time. Stolen base for Terry Wolpert, who got a curveball to go on and made it down there.
Well, Jim Arisi was forced to go inside to get the pitch and then come back against his body to throw the ball down to second base, and there's just no way he was going to get the leadoff man Wolpert running. And so the Lincoln Rail Splitters quickly have the runner in scoring position. That's the tying run.
Maybe an indication of things to come, too. They're down a run, and their first man up gets on base and immediately steals. Fake a pickoff play at second, and the ball's bounced foul. Ball and a strike.
I don't know how fundamentally sound they are, Bob. You know, we've never seen these teams in action, but to get to this level, I would think that they're schooled well fundamentally. I'd be interested to see if Wolpert takes a shot at the right side to move the runner over to third base. Let's see how the strategy is of the two managers as to how they want to approach this ball game.
I think we'll learn something right here on this hitter, 1-1. There goes the runner to third, and the ball is swung on. They were playing hit and run. It's fouled off, out of play. The runner will return. The ball is into the seats behind the Oak Park River Forest dugout. There are a lot of things that will give you kind of a hint of the personality of this club right here in this situation. One, of course, was the runner just breaking towards third there. Another would be if they would choose to bunt, even though the hitter has a ball and 2 strikes on here, to move that runner, who is the tying run, to third with 1 out, where a fly ball would bring him in. They've tried 2 ways to get him over there now. Pickoff play at second, close, but they don't get him.
Pretty good-looking play, too. That's Tom Hildebrand out there at second base, working with Pat McCune, the pitcher. Sometimes that's a timing play, sometimes the catcher calls it, but either way, it was well executed that time.
A ball and 2 strikes. They fake him back at second. A curveball drops in there. What a pitch. They got him picked off at second, but the throw was a little wide.
I'll say this. I'll tell you this. Jim Arisi is not afraid to throw that ball around, the catcher back there.
Almost struck out into a double play. A terrific curveball from McCune gets him his first strikeout. So it's been pitcher-catcher all the way. A walk and a strikeout to the first 2 batters for Lincoln's Rail Splitters. And Vince Rainforth, their catcher, comes up. There's a strike on the outside corner with a fastball. Something going on in the infield, too, Dick, with that runner, Terry Wolpert, on at second. They were covering with a second baseman, but the last time they broke the shortstop behind him. Swing and a miss.
Good pitch, jammed him inside. Well, maybe a blind spot there for Vince Rainforth, but the pitcher McCune quickly ahead 0-2, and now he can maybe waste one away and try and nibble on the corner.
McCune walked the first man on 4 straight pitches. That could have been a sign of nerves or just one of those things. Line drive to center field. On the run is McBride. He's there, one-handed. Runner tags. They throw behind him. And he is back there, 2 down.
Well, he did rain for a change-up 0-2 and gave him a watermelon to swing at, and he got it out there. He got a lot of it, and they're fortunate that ball didn't drop in. 2 out now, and the cleanup man, Scott Neese, up.
You're taking a look at Pat McCune out on the mound. He won 11 and was not beaten this year, 11-0. He is their ace. Husky pitcher ready, and the ball is fouled off. Looked like Neese wanted to go the opposite field. Tried to poke it towards left field, and we notice now that the left fielder, McCormick, is over towards the line against the left-handed hitter.
Interesting, Bob. We have the Major League Draft coming up very shortly, and this is the last opportunity for some of these seniors to give the scouts the real good look that they're after. But I would think that this tournament is going to produce some professional talent shortly.
There's a ball fouled down on a curveball for 2 strikes. Well, you would certainly think that it would. It has produced at least one major leaguer for Oak Park in Jack Kaiser's career, a former White Sox pitcher. Marv Staley. Dennis Kusian, who played in the high minors, also came from Oak Park. There's pickoff play at second. They've got him hung up. Now the throw goes almost into center field. Kozlov picks it over to third on a nice catch, and the run down ensues. Now the third baseman runs it back. Kozlov, the shortstop, on the run, makes the tag. Yes, slow call. He got him the first time. Thomas, base umpire, was a little slow on the call, but Terry Wolpert caught in a rundown, and the inning is over. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. We've played one here in Springfield, Illinois. This quarterfinal game, Oak Park River Forest High School Huskies lead it 1-0. To the athletic director at Oak Park High School. A lot of problems these days in high school athletics, and Dick Gonski checked in to see if any of them pertain to Oak Park River Forest, and here's what Jim Brown said.
In Springfield, Illinois, at the Class 2A quarterfinals, Dick Gonski along with Jim Brown, the athletic director at Oak Park and River Forest High School. And Jim, your team has had such a successful year, 27-4. I know talent is one of the factors, but certainly your coach, Jack Kaiser, has to be a major reason why your team is here today.
Thank you very much for mentioning it. We are blessed with a number of fine coaches, certainly one of them, and we're very, very pleased with Jack Kaiser as the person and coach of this team. He not only works with baseball, but he is also assistant football coach. He's our winter trainer, spring baseball, and then in summer baseball. So he works all year long, and he's been at it 28 years, and he's just that type of person. He just loves the kids, he loves the games, and he'll do anything for the school.
Yeah, that's got to rub off on a young man, an impressionable young guy, a sophomore, a junior, seeing an adult that really cares for him like that.
And this is what he is. So he just anything for the kids all the time, and he only thinks of them.
Tom Colzo leads it off here with a fly ball on the first pitch. Into left field, it's easily put away by Neese, and it's 1 out for Oak Park River Forest Huskies. Jeff McCormick coming to the plate, so Colzo disposed of rather quickly, one of the better hitters in the lineup. He was hitting .337, but Jeff McCormick is also a .300 hitter, and they do throw the wood at you, even though it's aluminum, Dick.
That's right. I was talking to Jim Brown in that interview about the bats that they use. It's a far cry from the old wood ones we used to play with, Bob. They are aluminum. Now, wait a minute. They are aluminum, and they cost $30 a piece, but they last for about 15 years. That's the key. They save a lot of money. They buy 6 bats a year, and they never break.
Jammed him, and the pitcher, Steinkamp, has it over to first. 2 down quickly, and Mark Carroll coming to the plate.
Did you use a broom or what?
No. I was there right at the introduction of aluminum bats.
I see.
I don't remember wooden bats at
I
all.
thought you meant when it was invented. 2 out, nobody on, huh? Mark Carroll. And I think we had an indicator that the Lincoln rail splitters are going to be aggressive on the base paths, Bob. They're really looking to take the extra base, even if it costs them sometimes. And that's sometimes a very aggressive attitude and a good attitude in the tournament.
Breaking pitch is in there for a strike to Carroll. He's hitting 207. That's the lowest average on the starting lineup. But he is, of course, an anchor in the infield at third base. 2 down, base is empty, and the ball's hit towards left field, in the hole, on through for a base hit. And everybody hits on this Husky ball club. Third hit of the game. All of them have been pulled. And, of course, the big one was Hildebrand's solo shot in the first inning for the only run of the game. Here's Mark Circlin, a 308 hitter. He's the designated hitter for the pitcher, Pat McCune. There are a couple of rules that are in effect here. One, of course, is the designated hitters, which is the exact same rule that they use in almost all of baseball. There's a drive into center field. It will be playable by Wolpert, and Terry Wolpert makes the catch for the final out. No runs, a hit, no errors, and a runner left. We go to the bottom of the second. The Huskies won. The Rail Splitters nothing.
On sale now at the entrances of Lanphier Park. The price is $1. Included in this year's edition for the rosters and scorecards.
Jim Brown and Dick Gonski continue their conversation now. It's of interest to all people who like to follow high school athletics or athletics in general. Let's listen.
What about this Springfield site? I am very impressed, Jim, with the facility here. This is a AAA ballpark, which is used by the Springfield affiliate of the St. Louis Cardinals. And just watching the games in the morning, just a phenomenally beautiful site.
It is beautiful. I know Jack was instrumental in having the site moved from Peoria over to Springfield because of the fine facilities here.
And it's an all-grass field, we might add. No AstroTurf on this one.
Exactly right. It is beautiful. He would love to have this field moved to Oak Park if we could do it. I don't know if we can quite get it done. We don't have that space to put it in there, but we'd like to have it there.
And, of course, I guess the IHSA would be very happy with the results of the tournament so far. We're down to the final 8, and it's a great field.
It is beautiful. It's held up. The weather, of course, earlier in the week had been a problem, and it's cleared up, and let's keep our fingers crossed it'll stay that way.
Well, Jim Brown, athletic director at Oak Park and River Forest High School, good luck to you and your club the rest of the way.
Thank you so much. We'll take all the luck we can get along with it.
All righty.
Scott Neese just lines out on the first pitch to McBride in center field, and Dick, that was kind of a tough chance for McBride out there.
I agree with you, Bob. I think the toughest ball, and most defensive players will tell you, the toughest ball to judge is the ball coming right at you, whether it's a ground ball in the infield or a line drive in the outfield, particularly in the infield, because you can't judge the hops. There's no perspective. And that line drive, you don't know whether it's going to sink or sail or stay up, and he played it very well.
Everybody in the truck can relax. That foul ball missed our camera by a good 2 inches. Tom Watson at the plate. That one was close. Almost lost our home plate camera. That one right there. Strike called. The Harold Kopis, the home plate umpire. So McCune is quickly ahead, 2 strikes to nothing with 1 out. He has faced just 4 men here, and we're in the second inning with 1 away. He walked the first man he faced, but he was later picked off. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 2 for McCune. 2 strikeouts and a walk. He was up and in, and it looked like Watson might have helped him out a little on that.
Yeah, he did chase a bad one, and but you can see why McCune is unbeaten so far. He seems to mix his speeds fairly well. His location is very, very good, consistent, and he's around the plate a lot. And he doesn't get behind many hitters. That boom you hear was the ball hitting the aluminum above us.
Yes, we're under a little shade screen here. We'll be telling you more about this ballpark as we go along. It's truly a delight as a facility. It's used by the AAA Farm Club of the St. Louis Cardinals, the Springfield Redbirds. Bouncing ball left side of the infield, deep in the hole is the shortstop Colzo. His throw, what an arm, he gets it. 3 up, 3 down. They're out in order in the second. This is Bob Waller. Dick Gonski will be Bringing the third inning your way with the score, Oak Park 1, Lincoln High School 0.
You got the umpires? There are the umpires. Harold Kopus behind the plate. Vic Bueller from Granite City over at first base. Thomas Holba from Lansing at third. Kopus is from Crescent City. We're at the end of 2 with Oak Park River Forest leading 1-0. 1 run, 3 hits, and no errors for the Huskies. No runs, no hits, no errors for the Rail Splitters. As we have gone through the order once on Oak Park River Forest, and we'll have the top of the order coming up in the third inning. Marty Bell, Jim McBride, and Tom Hildebrand. Hildebrand, of course, the home run hitter in the, and that's the only run of the ball game so far. Talking about the ballpark, Bob, you're right. The Springfield Cardinals AAA club plays here, and last year Leon Durham was a member of the Cardinal farm system, and can you imagine him playing in this ballpark?
He had to have fun, and he certainly earned his way up to the major leagues. As a matter of fact, they still talk about Bull Durham down here and what a player he was for the AAA ball club. And I would imagine he eventually will achieve more than a little distinction on the north side of Chicago. Well, Dick Gonski, why don't you get in here and see if you can get a run or two.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Top of the third. Here we go with the top of the order. Marty Bell for Oak Park and River Forest. 27-4 on the year, looking for advancement into the semifinals of this Class 2A state tournament from Springfield, Illinois. First pitch is in there, a call strike 1. Steinkamp, going through the first time of this batting order, has not struck out anybody, and he hasn't walked anybody. The big mistake, a home run off the bat of Hildebrand in the first inning. 0-1 to Bell. Line to the second baseman, knocks it down. Eimer picks it up, throws and gets him, and there's one away.
Hit that ball a little too hard. Could have been softer. He could have beaten the throw to first.
The old Adam ball, right?
Yep.
1 out, nobody on. Top half of the third inning. Here's Jim McBride, the center fielder. He grounded to short his first time up, going with the pitch, the left-handed hitter. Facing Mike Steinkamp. This Huskies club came to this tournament with the reputation of a fine defensive club as well as a heavy hitting club, Bob, and through the first turn of the order, I'd say Steinkamp has handled himself pretty well. Amazing performance, Dick, considering that he just pitched yesterday. I know we keep repeating that, but it is remarkable that a man who pitched 3 and 2/3 innings would be called on to start and go as long as he can here in a quarterfinal game. McBride fouls one back, coming at us. No net available. Hey, wait a minute. I got on my contract. I only work with people who carry nets. What is this? 1-1 with 1 out here. In the top half of the third inning, Oak Park River Forest leading 1-0. Jim McBride, the left-hand hitter. Even count against Steinkamp. Here's the pitch. Up high, ball 2. Defense playing him pretty honest. The shortstop is shading over towards second just a bit, and they're playing him to pull on the right side, although they really give him left center field. There's a huge gap between the left fielder, who's playing McBride like a right-handed pull hitter. You know, it's interesting that they're doing that, because when we talked before the game to the coach, he said Lincoln didn't know a thing at all about Oak Park. They hadn't been able to scout him or anything. They sure got a scouting report in a hurry from somewhere. Well, they called it because McBride hits one deep to left, but he's going to make the play on the track, and there are 2 out. I'll tell you, you know, that's why these guys are in the semifinals or whatever we are, Bob. They know what they're doing. Yeah, Sam's pretty good with the microphone. He told me that he does the play-by-play for Lincoln High School's football and basketball team, so he's no stranger to and as we said, he'll open in Vegas next Friday, and should do pretty well in the lounge. When you see a left-hander pin the left fielder 350 feet away against the wall, and he was playing for it, you know they got a scouting report from somewhere. Well, Neely out there, Neese in left field, had his shoulders brushing against the fence on that one, but there was nothing he could do the last time Tom Hildebrand batted, because Hildebrand put one in the net in left field, the only run of the ball game, and that's Tom standing in there now. 1-0 is the count. Hit in the air to left field again. That's sending Neese way back there on the track. Back. Another home run for Hildebrand. That is Tom Hildebrand's second home run of the ball game. He is 2 for 2, and that's both runs on the scoreboard. And so the Oak Park River Forest Huskies lead it 2-0.
Not only is he powerful, he's versatile. His first home run was a line shot, a speeding bullet over left field. This was a high, lazy, powerful arc, and it dropped just beyond the 350 mark in left field and beyond the reach of the frustrated left fielder. Somebody just threw the ball back in. It'd be nice if they could get that and let Hildebrand have it as a momentum. The third base umpire now, Tom Holba, has it, and maybe he'll put it in his pocket and keep it. And we'll take another look at that after we find out what happens to Joe Satari.
Big Joe singled his first time up to left field, and he takes a strike. It's called 0-1.
Steinkamp is doing a good job against everybody except Hildebrand.
Down in the dirt, a ball, 1-1, even the count. 2-0 in favor of Oak Park River Forest on 2 Tom Hildebrand home runs. Good power for a second baseman, my goodness. 2 out, nobody on. Up the middle, a line single, and that's 2 for 2 for Joe Satari. And so the 3-4 hitters in this Oak Park River Forest lineup show you why they are 3-4. Hildebrand with 2 home runs, Satari with 2 singles. Now Frank Gimarisi comes to the plate with 2 out and the runner at first. We'll see if Satari takes off with the pitch.
They've been hitting this ball very hard off of Steinkamp. You know, let's take another look at the second Hildebrand home run now, and you could see that it was just a massive arc shot. The left fielder thought he had a play. He just ran out of ballpark, and it dropped not too far behind him. And I'll tell you, Hildebrand's got his home run trot down perfectly. Way to go, Tom.
So here's Frank Gimarisi with the count at 0-0, 2 out, man at first, and 2-0 the score. Runners going. Here's the throw down. He's in the dirt. He's in there with the stolen baseball. Gets away. He's going to try for third. Retrieved out there and no play. And so the Oak Park River Forest Huskies have Joe Satari at third with 2 out on the stolen base and the error.
A nice pop-up slide by Satari. A lot of hustle for him to get to third. There was no coach helping him on that. That's a play he had to do himself. He had it in front of him all the way. He saw it. He knew the shortstop had to reverse and go back and get it. And he popped up immediately and took off for third. Good base running. That's a stolen base and an error.
So Frank Gimarisi has a shot at a run batted in here with 2 out. First pitch is fouled away on the right side, and it's 0-1. Satari, for a kid his size, really has good speed. He runs very well. Bats clean up. Jack Kaiser down there coaching at third. 27-4 with this ball club this year. Their first trip ever to the finals in Class 2A. Gimarisi stands in, 1-1 the count. The pitch in there. Breaking ball, and it's 1-2. Jack Kaiser thought it might have been a little low. There you see him.
Jack says he's a very emotional person.
Imagine how he'll be if they win this thing.
Yeah.
Swung on and missed for strike 3, but Oak Park River Forest comes up with another run on 2 hits. They leave one at the end of 2.5. It's Oak Park River Forest 2, Lincoln nothing. Second baseman with some power like that, Bob, you really like to see that. I would think a guy who's looking at a guy like Hildebrand, a scout, for instance, would say that kind of power in an infielder, you have to take another long look at him.
Well, usually if you find in high school a second baseman with power, you automatically translate him to a third baseman or something in professional baseball. But from what we've seen, it's been very limited. He does look like a very good fielding second baseman. There's nothing wrong with the way he plays the position. And when you go to a second baseman with power, that's a very rare commodity. Joe Morgan, of course, qualified as a second baseman with power, and all he did was be the MVP.
Couple of years. That's right. Well, Lincoln's not dead. We're only in the third inning, and they play 7 in the Class 2A, 7 innings, and so there is plenty of time, and Lincoln will send up Greg Eimer, the second baseman, Todd Bunner, the shortstop, and Tim Shea, the right fielder, the bottom third of the Rail Splitters batting order here, looking for their first hit off Pat McCune, who is unbeaten this year, their big right-hander, number 10.
Maybe we ought to slip in a couple of the rules that I neglected to mention. One is the 10-run rule, and I believe that's at the end of 5 innings.
Right.
If one team is ahead by 10 runs, the game is called right there. And the other is the insert rule, that a player who starts the game may be removed from the game and then returned to the game one time.
That's right. Any player. Bunted out in front of the plate, handled by McCune, throws over easily, and there's one out.
I've seen a couple of games in this tournament already since I've been down here, and I saw the championship of Class A, which was played last night here. And, Dick, they all seem to do that. They want to test the pitcher as a fielder, and that's what that bunt was all about there, and Mr. McCune passed the test.
Yep. Todd Bunner, the shortstop, up with one out and nobody on in the bottom half of the third. The Oak Park River Forest Huskies lead it 2-0 on the strength of 2 home runs by Tom Hildebrand, their starting second baseman. 1-0 pitch. Swung on and missed. It's 1-1. Looked like McCune took a little bit off that one. Todd Bunner, the starting shortstop for Lincoln.
They must have switched the batting order because that's Tim Shea up there.
Hit in the air to right field, and Marty Bell will make the play. Very easy, right on him. And there's 2 out quickly here in the third inning.
Well,
The batter for 2 out is the pitcher. Number 13, Mike Steinkamp.
the pitcher, Mike Steinkamp, is going to bat, which means their designated hitter, Ron Clark, we missed it, I'm sorry. We didn't hear an announcement here on the PA, so nobody else did it, and the umpire never turned around and gave it to us. But if the pitcher's hitting, that means designated hitter rule is no longer in effect. So perhaps the freshman, Rob Clark.
Popped up into center field. Jim McBride circles under it, and so a very easy inning here in the third for Pat McCune. 3 up and 3 down, nothing across. End of 3, Oak Park River Forest 2, Lincoln nothing.
What happened to the DH? That's what I'm calling it. Here it is. Yeah, well, the kid batted. Right. Got that? Kill it?
Bob, have you got a clarification on that designated hitter?
Yes, it is. We just got finished saying the designated hitter rule is just like it is in professional baseball. It is not. The designated hitter does not have to hit for the pitcher. The designated hitter in this lineup is hitting for the second baseman. All
Bob,
right.
we have a designated hitter clarification on this. Huh?
Right. We were led slightly astray. The designated hitter is not the same in high school ball as it is in professional baseball that we're used to dealing with. The designated hitter in this case for Lincoln is hitting not for the pitcher but for the second baseman.
For Greg Eimer.
Maybe we should explain that again.
All right, here we go into the top half of the fourth inning. You were saying on the designated hitter rule on the Lincoln hitters, Bob, the DH in this game does not necessarily bat for a pitcher as we see it in the American League, where a pitcher never bats virtually, and the designated hitter hits in his stead. In this competition, it does not have to be
Right.
designated for the pitcher.
The designated hitter can bat for anybody. In the case of Lincoln, he is batting for the second baseman, Greg Eimer.
Okay.
That's why the pitcher hit. The designated hitter rule is still in effect for Lincoln.
All right, Tom Colzo leads it off in the 4th inning for Oak Park River Forest. Hits it on the ground, one hop to third, fair ball. Wolpert throws across in the dirt, scooped out by Watson. Good play. Nice play from third to first. Colzo with a one-hopper, and Ron Wolpert had to go across the bag. And the good part about that play was that he did not hesitate. He did not wait for the umpire to make the call fair or foul. He followed through with the play as if it was a fair ball and threw across and got some help from Tom Watson. 1 out, nobody on here in the 4th inning. That brings up Jeff McCormick, the left fielder who grounded to the mound his first time up. He takes high ball 1. This game moving right along. It's already in the 4th inning. A very warm day here in Springfield, very humid. Takes a strike, 1-1. Jeff McCormick, left-handed hitter. Mark Carroll will be next. In the dirt. 1 out and nobody on here. A 2-0 Oak Park River Forest lead. The count is 3-0. That second pitch was called a ball, so McCormick is working on a 3-0 count here with 1 out in the 4th inning. Tom Hildebrand with 2 home runs for the Huskies, the only runs of the ball game so far. Ball high, and so McCormick draws a pass. Even the batter wasn't sure of the call, and we hesitated on that second one. So 1 out, 1 on brings up Mark Carroll, the third baseman. He singled to left his first time up. Steinkamp has given up 5 hits and the pair of home runs to Hildebrand. McCune has been perfect, although he did walk Terry Wolpert to start the ball game, and then Wolpert was caught in the rundown, but he has not given up a hit. Long pause here. McCune, and then the batter steps away.
Somebody had to give him.
Mark Carroll did. See if McCormick is running at first base.
I think that's why the pitcher was holding the ball. He was waiting for a tip-off.
Throws over, and the runner is back. Mark Carroll squares around as if to bunt. The runner is going. The throw down to second base, and he is out. A fine throw. What a throw from Vince Rainford, the catcher, on the fake bunt, which made the play even more difficult, Bob.
I tell you, I'm very impressed with Rainford's throw. He got away with it very quickly, wasn't waiting to see who was covering the bag or anything. He knew his responsibility was to get the ball chest high over the bag, and the infielder's responsibility was to figure out which one of them was going to take it. The shortstop broke over their bunter, and it was a very nicely done play. We'll have a replay of it in a moment.
Mark Carroll now with 2 out, 0-1 the count. Hit deep to left field. If that stays fair, it's gone, but it's curving foul. Into the net. These kids really swing the bat. Mark Carroll got out in front of an 0-2 pitch, and Steinkamp must have swallowed very hard on that one.
Oh, no, not again. All right, let's take another look at this. And there's, well, you just saw the tail end of the attempted steal and the fine throw by the catcher, Rainford.
2 out here, and Mark Carroll stands in, working on an 0-2 count against Steinkamp. Strike 3 on the outside corner. Good fastball. And so in the inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. At the middle of the 4th inning, it's Oak Park River Forest 2 and Lincoln nothing.
Dick, let's take another look at this fine bit of defensive work by the Lincoln catcher, Rainforth. You'll notice when he gets the ball, there goes the runner. He got a good break. The ball is on its way. Nobody even near the bag. Neither infielder at the time that throw had been launched had broken towards the bag. The catcher did what he had to do. He threw it as soon as he got it towards the bag, chest high on the right field side. A type of throw you couldn't do that well if you drew it on a board.
So we go to the bottom half of the fourth inning with Lincoln still looking for the first hit of the ball game. Top of the order, Terry Wolpert, Ron Wolpert, and Vince Rainfoot, the catcher. 1, 2, and 3 in the order against unbeaten Pat McCune. McCune has walked 1. He has struck out 2 and has not surrendered a hit as we go to the fourth.
You know, Dick, here is Oak Park, one of the favorites in this tournament. They've hit the ball very hard. They've really hit the pitcher hard. But they're only ahead by 2 runs. Even though their pitcher is pitching a no-hitter, there's a lot of doubt in this game.
Here's the leadoff man, Terry Wolpert. Tries to place one down the third baseline and fouls it off 0-1. They are looking for that first hit, and they're just about willing to do anything to go after it. They've tried the bunt already a couple of times. This time a very good idea with a leadoff man like a Wolpert, who's left-handed, gets out of the box quickly. 0-1 pitch. Takes in the dirt, a curveball, 1-1. Lincoln 21-8 this year. Oak Park River Forest 27-4, and ranked as a co-favorite along with Joliet Catholic in this Class 2A playoff here at Springfield. Fastball misses up high, 2-1.
And Dick, they will not play Joliet Catholic unless it's in the finals.
That's
That's
right.
the only way they could meet them. They're in the other bracket.
And what a matchup that would be. And if it does occur, we will have it for you. In there, good fastball by McCune. It's 2-2 now to Wolpert. Leading off the bottom half of the fourth inning, 2-0. Oak Park River Forest leading on those 2 home runs by Tom Hildebrand. Time is called, no pitch. McCune steps off the mound. All right, now we're ready. Takes the ball away, and it's a full count, 3-2. Terry Wolpert leading off here in the bottom half of the fourth for Lincoln. Lincoln is the home team on the scoreboard. And that's fitting because their school is just 25 or 30 miles away. Takes strike 3, looking, and there's 1 out.
Terry Wolpert trying to do anything he could to get on.
You could see that. First the bunt attempt, then working the count.
Frustration after, if they haven't picked you up the first time around and they resort to that, then you got to feel that he's got very good stuff and has them confused.
Ron Wolpert lines one to center. Coming on for it is McBride, and he makes the catch. So quickly, 2 up and 2 down. Here's Vince Rainfoot, the catcher. He lined to McBride, his first time up in the first inning. McBride has 4 putouts out there in center field in just 3 2/3 innings.
And 2 of them have been more difficult than just ordinary routine plays. One was the line drive off Rainford's bat, who's up there now, and the one was the last one that was hit. He seemed to give the center fielder some problems.
Rainforth looks at a ball in the dirt, ball 1. Pat McCune delivers the fastball, fouled away.
I thought we had a really terrific story here, an exclusive on a solar eclipse, but they're putting up some sunscreens behind us here for our monitor. Thank you.
The power of television.
Yes.
Huh? 1-1, swings and fouls it back, and it's 1-2.
Real challenge there because the curveball had a big break on it, but it was up around the eyes of the hitter, and he really went for it.
Oak Park River Forest has won, I believe, what, 10 in a row now, Bob?
10 wins in a row. Coming into this game trying for number 11.
One and 2, the count. Here's the pitch, line to the shortstop, but right at Colso to retire the side. 3 up and 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. End of 4. We've got a good one. Oak Park River Forest 2 and Lincoln nothing.
We were talking just a moment ago about how some of our crack technical staff was blotting out the sun so we could see our monitor, and it was not a solar eclipse. These people are also assembling this show, and you know that if you're watching this show right now that obviously it's on a tape delay basis because of the bright sunshine that we're talking about.
Yeah, especially if it's dark out.
And so you realize that this game was played on Thursday afternoon. Now, if Oak Park River Forest wins this game on Friday at 6:30, you will see the semifinal match against Limestone of Bartonville. And should the Oak Park River Forest Huskies win that on Sunday at 12 noon, you'll see the championship game.
Well, we've got a very good ball game on our hands with the Oak Park River Forest Huskies leading at 2-0 on 2 home runs by Tom Hildebrand over the Lincoln Rail Splitters. And a no-hitter in the works for Pat McCune, the unbeaten right-hander of the Huskies. And so now for more play-by-play, back to Bob Waller.
Thank you, Dick Gonski. And stepping in will be Mark Circlin, the designated hitter for the pitcher, Pat McCune.
The batter, number 3. Designated hitter, Mark Circlin.
With the designated hitter having snaked its tentacles all the way down to the high school level, you just wonder how long the National League can hold out, since just about every league and every form of organized ball now uses it.
A lot of people, I think, thought, Bob, that once O'Malley left this earth,
I was one of them,
that it would all change in the National League, but it hasn't happened.
Circlin 0 for 1 in this game, a fly ball to center field, 1 strike on him, and a breaking pitch is in there for called strike 2 from Mike Steinkamp, who's now in his 5th inning of work. He's allowed 5 hits, 2 runs. Both of those runs scored on home runs by Tom Hildebrand. Look out, up high. A ball and 2 strikes. He's walked only 1, and he's struck out 2. They play 7 innings, unless, of course, it's tied. There's a drive into center field, should drop for a hit for Circlin, and he leads off the 5th with a base hit. Well, the last couple of innings, we've had Dave Lockenauer, a right-hander who's a junior, and the only other pitcher on the Lincoln Rail Splitters, warming up in the bullpen. Here's Marty Bell. He's hit the ball twice to the second baseman, once on the ground and once on the line. As you look at Mark Circlin, who will be taking a lead, there he goes into his lead, and checking him is the pitcher Steinkamp, who throws over there and sends him sprawling in the dirt. First base umpire Vic Beeler. Cute little move right there by Steinkamp, who threw it right back to the first baseman, just in case Circlin wasn't paying attention and was kind of automatically walking into a lead. But the team is well coached. They didn't fall for that. There's a bunt, third baseline. It will go foul. And something I have noticed in the few games I've seen here, Dick, is unlike the old St. Louis Cardinals, the new Cardinals evidently have disdained the bunts. Both foul lines slope towards foul territory in this ballpark.
Well, a lot of people think that the grounds crew can win or lose a pennant for you in big league towns. And, you know, I think it's a mark of a good organization that it's consistent from the bottom right through the top. Some organizations that we both know about and won't talk about don't work things that way.
There's a throw to first. Yes, there are ways of doing things. The Dodger way, the White Sox way, the Cardinal way, and then the other way.
The wrong way, right.
There's the bunt, third base side. You got to put it in the grass. That's a good one. You ought to have a hit. Third base is open. The runner is on his way. No one has covered. That's a dangerous throw. They almost get him. Time called. They do not. Circlin hustling when he saw third base uncovered on a base hit bunt by Marty Bell. And they risked a run there with a throw to an uncovered base and hit the catcher.
Now, the thing about this play, Bob, is that 2 things. The runner must do this instinctively when he sees nobody covering third base, and the catcher must continue on down third base line and move it right into the base itself. because the third baseman is charging. See, the catcher has to continue up the third base line. He did not do it, and now he's in a foot race with the base runner, and the base runner knows he's going. The catcher didn't know, and that's the difference. The speed is there. That catcher's got to move right down the third base line when he does not handle the bunt to protect against just this very thing.
Good pictures there, guys. Go right on it. So that's a bunt single for Marty Bell. There is no error on that play. Total of 7 hits now for Oak Park. And that was the shortest one of them all. Here's Jim McBride. He's 0 for 2, but has hit the ball hard his last time up. Both times he's hit to the opposite field. They're playing him to hit the left. He's tired of waiting. Runners at first and third.
Boy, and you just know Bell is going on one of these pitches from first base here, Bob.
Jack Kaiser said that he used to have a team whose hallmark was speed and running a lot, but now they just play situation baseball. Depends who's on, what the score is, and this is a good place to try something. Breaking pitch. Down low, looked like a slider, ball 1.
You know who's on deck?
Yes, Mr. Home Run himself, Tom Hildebrand. He's been up twice, and he's cost IHSA 2 baseballs. Throw to first.
He caught Marty Bell leaning just a trifle there. Bell is really an aggressive base runner. He's the kind of guy that instills the thought of steal even when he's not running.
Down the line is Circlin. Another throw to first. Circlin and Coach Jack Kaiser, who's coaching at third, both asking for a balk call out of Thomas Holba, the third base umpire, and not getting it. A ball and no strikes on left-handed hitting Jim McBride. There goes the runner. The ball is popped up into short right field. A long run for the right fielder, Shea. The runner is tagged at third, a collision, and the ball is caught by the right fielder, I believe, and he is hurt. The ball is picked up by one of the infielders who went out and took it out of the glove of Shea, the right fielder, but Shea is hurt. He held on to the ball for an out. The runner at third tagged, and they're trying to get some help out to the right fielder.
That's a sacrifice fly because the runner scored from third.
It is, and it's the collision with Terry Wolpert and Shea. Wolpert, the center fielder, looks like he banged his hit, but the right fielder, Shea, is really hurt. Let's take a look at it.
All right, there are the two outfielders converging on the baseball, and they seem to be both looking at it and not talking to one another. We can't tell on the communication. We're way up behind home plate here. It's miraculous to my thinking that Tim Shea held on to that baseball. He made the catch on that play.
A terrific defensive play by Shea. The center fielder normally takes anything he can get to, but the right fielder had gotten to that too. The right fielder had a long run for that because he was deep and around towards the line and had to come in on it. It looked, though, to me, Dick, on that replay that the brunt of the collision was in the upper arms of both players, and as Shea was hurt not by the collision but by hitting the ground.
Yeah, you don't want to see knee injuries in a play like that where the leg buckles, and your point is well made. It's an upper body injury, which is easy to shake off. Good hand from the fans here as Shea says, I'm going to be okay. He's walking in. Whether he will leave the ball game or just require a quick medical. Oh, yes, we have a sub going out there now, number 9, Roger Barney, and so Shea will leave the ball game. Too bad, because this is a fine moment for all these prep stars who have played all year to get here. Tim Shea, but as I say, I'm really impressed with him holding onto the baseball with that collision. And the second baseman, Greg Eimer, actually trotted out there, hustled out there to get the ball out of Shea's glove, because it was just stuck in there with Shea rolling on the ground in pain.
Marty Bell, the runner at first for Oak Park River Forest, was standing at first yelling into the dugout of Lincoln, pointing to the injured Shea, trying to get some attention for him. The runner at third, Mike Circlin, came in to score the third run of the ball game. Now, this is one of the rules, as I understand it, that is different from organized baseball, that in the high school level, even though Shea has been removed, he conceivably could come back into this game. Because he is a starter, he can be removed once and then come back to the game.
It makes sense, Bob, because let's face it, they're not playing for big dollars at this level. And the primary idea here is the safety of the kid. And to take him out if he's a little woozy right now, and then if he clears up, to be able to put him back in the lineup makes a lot of sense. I think it's a very good rule.
Well, here's Tom Hildebrand, who's marked an early bid to be the most valuable player of this tournament. He's 2 for 2, both home runs over the left field fence. 2 home runs and 2 tries, and I don't blame Mike Steinkamp. He doesn't want to pitch to him. He wants to throw to first base. Hildebrand in the first inning with 2 out, a line drive into the nets about 330 feet away. A wild pitch, and on to second goes Bell. He takes the big turn, and the catcher, who's got a rifle arm, Rainsford, holds him there. They have called that a stolen base. I don't think Bell was running, was he?
Well, I don't know about that, Bob, but I wonder about this, because if I'm Lincoln now, I put Mr. Hildebrand on. I'm not going to pitch to this kid, and that's what they're going to do.
They're just waving down there. It's an intentional walk. Another rule variation that is nice to see here. Instead of having to endure 3 more intentional balls thrown wide and slowly, they just say, hey, you're on. So Hildebrand working on a perfect day, 2 homers and intentional walk. Marty Bell is on at second. Credit him with the stolen base. 1 run is in, and here's a shot into left field by Satari. This will score Bell. Bell on his way to third is Hildebrand. So's the throw. Head first Pete Rose type style of slide is in time, and taking second on the throw is Satari, who gets a run batted in. It's now 4-0 Huskies. Satari also on a perfect day.
And yeah, those 3-4 hitters have really delivered for Oak Park River Forest. Hildebrand with the 2 home runs, and now Satari with his 3rd consecutive hit. He drives in the 4th run of the ball game for the Oak Park River Forest Huskies, and now we are going to have a pitching change, it looks like, for the Rail Splitters.
A really gutsy performance if they do, well, even if they don't, take Mike Steinkamp out. And the youngster who pitched the game yesterday, just a few short hours ago, when Lincoln beat Urbana 9-2. He pitched 3 2/3 innings, and he'll be relieved by the only other pitcher they have, Dave Lockenauer. It's a situation where they had a disciplinary infraction and had to throw 4 seniors off of the team. 2 of those seniors were their main pitchers, and so this left them with only half a pitching staff, and that hurts in tournament time.
Trying to project a little bit here, Bob, if the Huskies can move on into the semifinals. We watched Limestone play here this afternoon, and they are a very fine hitting ball club, and they are runners-up a year ago. This team is tournament tested now 2 years running. That could be a very, very good matchup.
Frank Gimarisi is up at the plate. We'll have that matchup for you if Oak Park wins. You'll see it Friday at 6:30, Oak Park against Limestone, last year's runner-up in a semifinal game. Here on Cablevision, you'll see it on Cablevision of Chicago, Friday at 6:30. If Oak Park maintains their lead in this game and wins it, they're ahead 4-0. The pitcher, Tom McKeon, is working on a no-hitter. Tom Hildebrand has 2 home runs. He's currently on at third. Joe Satari is on at second. There is 1 out. The infield is in, trying to cut off a run at the plate. And they're still not square on what they're going to do in spite of that conference. So Steinkamp and Rainforth have a little conversation. The infield wants to play at the plate. First base is open. There is 1 out. And the breaking pitch is low, ball 1. The 1 out came on a sacrifice fly by Jim McBride that scored the 3rd run of this game for the Huskies. Gimarisi squares the bunt. The safety squeeze was on, and he took the pitch.
And down at third base, you see Jack Kaiser throwing in the signs at the hitter, Gimarisi, who stared down to get them. You don't want a mistake in a situation like this offensively. You don't want a runner running into an easy put-out when you've got 2 ducks on the pond just sitting there in a state tournament game.
2 balls, no strikes. The count. Let's see if the bunt is still on. I don't think so. Fastball inside, 2-1. Or 3. Let's make that 3 balls and no strikes. Excuse me. Now you got your number 5 hitter. Carried a .411 average into this game. He's 0 for 2. Struck out his last time up, but here's a 3-0 pitch. Called strike. Did he call it? No, I thought he gave an indication of a strike. The pitch looked inside, and it was indeed inside for ball 4. So the bases are loaded. And Tom Colzo, a hero many times for Oak Park. He, of course, is the man who pitched the big game over St. Patrick of Chicago that got them here.
He's also a starting guard on their basketball team.
Excuse me. He was injured in basketball season, hurt an ankle. He's a cover boy of the Chicago Sun-Times. The curve. The strike called.
Great opportunity here for the Huskies to break this one wide open with the sacks loaded, 1 out, and Colzo at the plate.
Fouled down. Colzo hitting .337 when this game began. With 19 runs batted in on his 31 hits.
Kind of rough on the scheduling because this team's got to come back in the morning.
There's the strike called
for the next game. And there are a couple of games played this morning, and those teams get a little extra rest going into the semifinals.
Harold Kopis and I are not on the same wavelength here. That was a ball and 2 strikes. There's a curve hung up high, and this will at least score a run. Left fielder can't get it. It's over his head. 2 runs are in. A third on his way to the plate. Here comes the relay. They hold up the runner. 2 runs come in. And it's a double over the head of the left fielder for Colzo. And that makes it a 6-0 ball game. Jeff McCormick will try to add the extra point.
Well, that was the game breaker. We said it. They had a terrific opportunity here, and now we have a very likely pitching change for Lincoln, as the Rail Splitters can no longer afford to give up anything. They trail 6-0 and are being no hit to boot. And so it's time to really put the stopper on things. There you see Jack Kaiser, who is a very happy man right now with a very, very fine club, a team that is 27-4. Steinkamp leads to an ovation from his followers. He's had a fine year. But this Oak Park team, 27-4, and really looking like they'll be in the semifinals tomorrow, Bob.
Well, you know, Dick, Jack Kaiser, who's been out coaching at third base, and he's walking over the dugout probably just to get a little shade, if nothing else, because of that hot sun out there. 29 years this has eluded him. 29 years this man has given of his time in high school sports. Baseball is his domain. He's tried and tried. He's never gotten here. This year he's here, and he's with a very good team. He says that there have been individuals he's had in the past that have been better ball players, and there have been teams that have been almost as good or maybe more talent. But if you take scholastics, attitude, and talent, this is going to be the best team he's ever had. And not just on talent alone, but on scholastic. Now we'll take a look at the pairings here. Joliet Catholic, the favorite in this tournament, got into their game on a 1-hitter by their phenomenal pitcher, Mark Grant. He beat Wakanda earlier today, 4-0, and Joliet Catholic goes in against Chicago Brother Rice of Chicago in a semifinal game. Brother Rice beat Clemente also earlier today, 7-3. Now, Bartonsville, Limestone High School of Bartonville, won their game today, defeating Centralia. Centralia is a team that beat Collinsville, the defending champion. Bartonville blew right by them, 8-1, and they will be the opposition for the winner of this game. And if Oak Park, leading 6-0, if the Huskies carry on and win this game, they would play Bartonville. They would take the place of the little question mark you see on your screen and try and turn it into an exclamation point with a victory. That game will be seen on Chicago Cablevision at 6:30 Friday. If they win that game, they would then play in the title game against the winner of the Joliet Brother Rice game, and you'd see it Sunday at 12 noon on Chicago Cablevision, and only on Chicago Cablevision.
What a matchup that would be, because everybody's talking about Mark Grant, the ace of the Joliet Catholic staff. There will be a lot of scouts watching him, and he is projected as one of the top 5 draft picks on Monday.
Infield still in, a little squibber to left field. That's going to fall for a hit, score another run as Jeff McCormick drives in run number 7. McCormick zips into second. They totally ignored him. The left fielder just kind of worked the ball in rather lazily to the cutoff man. And the second base taken by McCormick. He just went right after it.
Well, they batted around. Mark Carroll is the 9th batter in the inning, and there's still only 1 out. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 runs in this ball game and 2 men in scoring position.
So Carroll, who struck out his last time up, had a base hit, a hard single off Steinkamp. We'll give you the line on Steinkamp when it's complete. The pitch is inside from Dave Lockenauer. Lockenauer was greeted by a double by McCormick. To drive in a run, 7-0, 10 hits for Oak Park River Forest High School. Swing and a miss on a breaking pitch. Got McCormick on at second. Colzo is on at third.
We're working on a 10-run rule, too.
That's right.
Steal
There's
it home.
a squeeze is on, and it's fouled off on the bunt. As Colzo came down the line, it was a suicide squeeze all the way. He was committed, but the pitch was fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Bob, I don't care who you are and what level you're playing at. When you get the sign at third base that the squeeze is on and you are the leading lady coming down the line, you're scared to death.
Yep.
Because if that hitter doesn't get the sign, you're working on a liner right in the gut.
You can only hope that the hitter got the sign too, or many interesting stories about that. They fake it this time and the pitch is fouled off. Just a little running start there at third by Colzo.
Outstanding catch by our fan up here.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Count on Mark Carroll. At the end of 5 innings, if one team is ahead by 10 runs, they call the game. That's the 10-run rule that Dick referred to. The pitch is inside. The count is full now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Infield in. Runners at second and third. If those 2 men on base score, of course, it would be 9-0. And this game, which is close all the way, is getting out of hand. Swing and a miss. Out number 2. First strikeout, of course, for Lockenauer. And Mark Circlin, the designated hitter for the pitcher, Pat McCune. And don't forget, he's working on a no-hitter, so don't lose interest in this just because of the big score here. It's been a long time since a no-hitter was pitched in the tournament. How long, do you say? Well,
You've got that information?
yes.
Outstanding.
1979, Bill Wingate of New Lenox, Providence in the Class A. There has never been a no-hitter in the finals of a Double-A. And you may say, well, I remember so-and-so and so-and-so. Up until just a few years ago, there was no Class A and Class Double-A. It was one division. It started A and Double-A in '78. Here's the pitch is lined right to the third baseman by Circlin, who hit it hard, but right at the third baseman. The inning is over after 10 men bat. 5 runs, 5 hits. There were no errors. 2 runners were left. We go through the bottom of the 5th inning. It's 7-0 Huskies. Well, you know, we were talking earlier, Dick, that this game was close up through 4 innings. And it really was. The score was 2-0, and the ball had been hit hard. And even though McCune was working on a no-hitter, Lincoln was right in this game.
Definitely. The 2 home runs, the difference going into that big 5th inning. And then you saw the Huskies really explode the big inning with 5 runs and 5 hits and some very alert base running. And now they have staked Pat McCune to a 7-run lead here in the bottom of the 5th. This is a right-hander who has not tasted defeat this year and is working on a no-hitter in the quarterfinals of the Class 2A state championship round. Incredible. And he would be eligible to pitch tomorrow, in case you are wondering if there is any rule prohibiting anything like that. There's an innings rule per day, but that's it. He can come back the next day and pitch.
Working on a no-hitter, Scott Neese is the opposition, and McKean gets ahead in the count, 1 strike. Mark Grant pitched a 1-hitter earlier today. There was a no-hitter in Class A. There have been several no-hitters in Class A competition. By our records, never one in Double A. And the left fielder, McCormick, puts it away.
Well, we had Colesville pitch one against St. Pat's.
To get here.
Yes. So he's playing shortstop today for the Huskies. So with a guy like that capable of throwing a no-hitter, with McCune working on a no-hitter, you can understand why this team was looked upon as a co-favorite.
Pitch is outside, a breaking pitch to Tom Watson, who struck out his only appearance. It's almost as if McCune is saying, well, here's the 1-0 pitch. It's down low, 2-0. McCune is saying, the last game we played, Colzo pitched a no-hitter. Now, I'm the big man of the staff. I got a better record than he is. I guess I got to go out and throw one, too. And he is. Popped him up short of left field. Should be an easy play for McCormick. Took a long time to come down to them.
He just got under that ball. He had a very good swing at it. Watson's a big kid. And if he would have squared that one off a little bit better, it might have been out of here. But it really went up high, and the left fielder had plenty of time, Jeff McCormick, to just circle under it and grab it. So we still have it with 2 out in the 5th.
Troy Edwards, a pinch hitter, who becomes the designated hitter. And he swings on the first pitch. This ball on the infield should be playable. The third baseman has it. 3 up, 3 down. He has faced 15 men through 5 innings. He's faced the minimum. He walked the first man he faced on 4 pitches. That man later was erased on base, caught stealing. So since then, he has retired everybody he's faced. He has a no-hitter going. We've played 5 innings. McCune is leading for Oak Park River Forest High School 7-0.
You know, Bob, you warned me about some of the flying objects that we see at Springfield.
Just wait, my friend.
I just saw a bee the size of a P-51.
He's a local pet. He's the team mascot, I think, one of the local high schools. It's quite a nice facility they have here, a nice community, of course, and Cablevision of Chicago getting involved in your community. You see, among other things coming up on Cablevision, the Honors Festival concert, the WAMU show, and the Lombard Lilac Festival. And of course, you'll be able to follow the Huskies' progress here as they drive for an attempt at the state baseball championship. Marty Bell will lead it off in the 6th inning, 7-0. Bell had a crucial bunt single his last time up in that big 5-run 5th inning that broke this game from a very nervous, tight contest into a walkaway so far for Oak Park. Swing and a miss. A sinking fastball from Lockenauer. All 7 runs were charged to Steinkamp. Swing and a miss on an outside fastball, and he's out of there. Lockenauer gets his 2nd strikeout.
Well, Oak Park River Forest can just sit back now, Bob, and they know they've got themselves a great pitching performance working for them and a 7-run lead here in the top of the 6th, and we play just 7 innings.
Pitch outside to Jim McBride. McBride had a sacrifice fly that took Jerry Shea out of the, or Tim Shea out of the lineup his last time up, in a collision in right field. It drove in a run. Popped him up foul, and it looks like it'll make the seats. There'll be no play. A ball and a strike. Beautiful facility here in Springfield, and it's similar, if you folks are familiar with the stadium in Kansas City in one respect. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Curveball is up high. 2 balls and a strike, in that it has separate baseball and football facilities. This park is used only for baseball, and right next to it is one that's used only for football. Pitch is fouled down. 2 balls and a strike.
And it shows it.
Terrific infield here.
Nice. You were mentioning you haven't seen a bad hop since you got to town.
No, and not even on the golf courses around here. The 2-1 pitch is a tough play for the shortstop, and he won't make it. The pitcher threw his glove at it.
Now you have to, the question is, and the umpire has to decide, was it intentional or did it just come off his hand in the effort to make the fielding play? And they're obviously ruling that it was the latter.
Well, that's bizarre. They've called that an error on the shortstop. It looked like a base hit to me, but that was a tough play. I mean, he did drop the ball, but I think if he caught it, he couldn't have thrown him out. Here's Tom Hildebrand with 2 homers. And here's our imitation of Shea Stadium now. We can't give you LaGuardia Airport and all the planes, but here comes one of the local trains by. Right at the junction of a freight line. In the background, you may hear the Norfolk and Western going by.
This is not a recreation, by the way.
And going by on the scoreboard is a little train. That's a cute touch. A little train.
They've got it all here.
Yes, I tell you. There's a nice hook. Oh, Hildebrand down in the count. 2 strikes and nothing. This is his first look at Lockenauer. His 2 home runs came off Steinkamp, the starter. McBride leads off at first, and he's running. The pitch is over the mound, and they get him at second. The throw pulls the first baseman off. Nice play. And that was an example of where they ran themselves into a double play, because the second baseman was going to cover the bag and ended up with the ball that was hit off the bat of Hildebrand. So we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and it's 7-0 Oak Park.
You do 5 and 6, yeah. I did 3 and 4. I'll do 7. You'll be all right.
Confusion.
Take 2 aspirin and call me in the morning.
Okay, you're in the morning.
Da-da-da-da-da.
The report that we have on Tim Shea is that he suffered a mild concussion in his collision back in the 5th inning on a fly ball off the bat of McBride. So the right fielder taken to get some medical treatment. Tim Shea suffering a mild concussion, presumably when he hit the ground after the collision. And Todd Bunner will lead off the 6th inning. He bounced back to the pitcher. McCune is up high, ball 1. McCune walked Terry Wolpert, the leadoff hitter in this game, on 4 pitches. He was later caught stealing. He's retired everybody he's faced since then. He's working on a no-hitter.
Yeah, and he would have a perfect game if not for that first batter in the first inning. And he stole second and then was wiped out when the bunt failed and the catcher threw down and they got him in a rundown and eventually tagged him out.
There is a pitch inside. I'm calling it a caught stealing on my own. I don't know if they have an official score. I'm sure they do, but he did break towards third on the rundown and got to 3/4 of the way there. There's a slow tapper. Tough play for the third baseman. Fires. The no-hitter's intact. Good play. Todd Bunner is cut down on a good play by Mark Carroll. And now here's Barney hitting for the first time. He took the place of the injured Shea. Let's take a look at this.
Watch the third baseman charge it this time. This is a big play because he's protecting the no-hitter. And look at the first baseman, Satari, stretch and give him some help.
Nice call by the first base ump. Swing and a miss by Barney. Roger Barney, a junior, 16 years old, at the plate for the first time. Changeup just missed. Ball and a strike, and McCune wanted that. McCune mixes his speeds well, as you've noticed, and changes his location. Roger Barney takes a pitch up high. He replaced Tim Shea, and we just told you that Tim Shea, who started the game in right field for Lincoln, suffered a mild concussion in that collision back in the 5th inning. 2-1 pitch. Fouled back, out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Watching this Oak Park River Forest team operate on the field and at the plate, they impress me with their basic confidence. They just show a very quiet confidence in themselves and in each other on the field and at the bat. And you can see why this team has won 27 out of 31 games.
Foul tip is held on to for out number 2. Goes as a strikeout on the foul tip. And here's the opposing pitcher now, Lockenauer, coming to the plate. Dave Lockenauer. He's a junior, 6 feet, 175 pounds, according to the information from the Lincoln Rail Splitters, coached by Sam Madonna. Swing and a miss. Sam Madonia used to go to the big high school here, Griffin.
Springfield Griffin, sure.
And Griffin expected to be in this tournament, of course. As a matter of fact, they expected to be the opponent for Oak Park. They should be playing had they won their tournament, but they were defeated and upset by this Lincoln team. Little tough play into short center field. Coming on is the center fielder, McBride, and he makes it. Through 6, the no-hitter continues. No runs, no hits, no errors. I've said that every inning of this ball game for McCune. We go to the 7th, and the score is the Huskies 7, Lincoln nothing.
Where's our out copy? There you go. Just leave it out here.
Okay, we'll be going into the 7th inning with Joe Satari. And as you've pointed out, Dick, the heart of this Husky order has really done a huge job offensively.
2 home runs for Hildebrand. 3 out of 3 for Joe Satari, who's standing in to lead off here, and he has driven in a run. And Colzo also had a bases-loaded double. So you've had a lot of production out of the meat of the order, and that's really what Jack Kaiser's been counting on with this club as we go to the 7th inning. Joe Satari leading it off is 3 out of 3. He has scored 1, driven in 1, and played a very steady game at first base. You saw him help out Mark Carroll on that long throw to keep the no-hitter intact the last inning. Curveball away, ball 1. 7-0. Oak Park River Forest leading Lincoln. In the top of the 7th, we play 7. Fastball, strike call, 1-1. Satari, a big kid up there in the cleanup slot, fouls it off his foot, and it's 1-2.
They were a little concerned about their hitting because this game originally was supposed to go at 4 o'clock, and no one told them that they had lost a lot of time today in playing the earlier games and were 1 game behind. They were starting the previous game at 4 o'clock.
Check swing by Satari, and that evens the count at 2-2.
Of course, what that did was Oak Park River Forest came out here ready to play. They had warmed up, and then they had to sit in the stands for an hour and a half and watch the Bartonville game.
Hit on the ground to the right side. Second baseman Greg Eimer makes the pickup and tag, and there's 1 away. Sometimes that sitting around would take the edge off a team or get a team up tight, but as I said last inning, Bob, this Oak Park River Forest team really has a kind of an inner confidence about it that you really are impressed with.
I tell you who got uptight was Jack Kaiser.
Yeah.
He was worried about where his kids were sitting. Were they sitting in the sun? He didn't want them in the sun so they'd bake. And the other team, Lincoln, came in and they sat in the sun, and he said, ha, they're in the sun, we aren't. And it was just, he was really up for this, as you might imagine.
Jim Arisi, the catcher, takes a low and away, ball 1, 7-0. That's the Huskies' lead. Top half of the 7th inning here from Springfield, Illinois, the home of the Springfield Redbirds Cardinals AAA ball club. And we'll have more on tap for you as the tournament unfolds should Oak Park River Forest forge on. And this one's going to drop in. Base hit to right field for Frank Gimarisi. That's his first hit of the ball game. He also walked and scored. And so with 1 out and 1 on, that'll bring up Tom Colzo to the plate. He doubled and drove in 2 the last time up. He is the starting shortstop, and as we told you, he also pitched a no-hitter in this tournament against St. Patrick. So this is a very versatile performer who also played on the basketball team at Oak Park River Forest.
And you know what we possibly could have is back-to-back no-hitters in tournament play, of course, by the Huskies. And if we get one today, we're only 3 outs away from it. It will be the first time ever in this AA tournament that a no-hitter has been pitched in the finals.
Throws over. Colzo 1 out of 3. Runner stays at first, takes a ball, low, ball 1. Jack Kaiser coaching down at third, giving the signs. There's a good pitcher, runner shot, and you see him going. Swing going on through, and he's going to make it easily. You saw it all there in that split screen shot with the leadoff, the break, the throw down, and the head first slide a la Pete Rose. All of it captured by the cameras here at Springfield. Good job. And so we have a man at second with 1 out and another RBI opportunity for Colzo.
Rainforth had a little bit of a rainbow on his throw that time, unlike the ones that he's uncorked earlier.
Good breaking ball in there, 1 and 2. He's ahead of the hitter. On deck is Jeff McCormick. One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, and the Huskies threatening once again. They lead 7-0. Fastball inside. It's 2-2. 7 runs, 11 hits, and no errors for the Oak Park River Forest Huskies. No runs, no hits, and 2 errors for the Lincoln Rail Splitters. We're in the top half of the 7th inning. Hit on the ground, past the third baseman in the left field, a base hit. Here comes Jim Arisi around third. He's going to try to score. He does. Cut off throw to second. He's in there sliding. And that's heads-up baseball on both ends by the Huskies.
They're really forcing the issue here. They played their 8th run, and the left fielder that time, Neese, helped him a little bit. He took a couple extra steps before he unloaded that throw.
I tell you, you don't see many catchers running like Jim Arisi did rounding third there. He can motor.
Good job, Roddy.
That'll bring up Jeff McCormick. McCormick playing in left field today. Singled, walked, and grounded to the mound. He's 1 out of 2 officially and has driven in a run. 8-0. Oak Park and River Forest leading.
Colzo is out there at second base as you look at him, and the information I have is he would pitch tomorrow morning's semifinal game for the Huskies if they're in it, and then Shannon would pitch the championship tomorrow night. And it looks like they're going to give Colzo a little rest here from on the bases, put in a pinch runner, and get him rested for tomorrow. They're leading 8-0, and they're working on a no-hitter as Jack Kaiser announces the change to the home plate umpire. And it should be K.J. Felon going in to run.
Well, this makes a lot of sense because you've got yourself an ace in Tom Colzo, and your team is virtually assured now of an appearance in the semifinals, in the Final Four, if you will, of Class 2A state baseball for 1981. And he has pitched a no-hitter his last time out. So get him off the bases. Gee whiz, the kid is hustling. He's diving into second base.
Well,
you want to arrest a guy like that.
You now have 13 consecutive innings of Oak Park pitching that has not allowed a hit. At least 13 innings, consecutive tournament innings in which the Huskies pitchers have not allowed a hit. Should the last 3 men in this inning go out in order, McCune will complete the second consecutive no-hitter for Oak Park, and coming back to pitch their next game will be the guy who threw the first no-hitter, Colzo. This is like an infinity of mirrors. It just keeps going on and on and on.
Well, we talked about this very early in the telecast, Bob. I recall saying that if you get this far, it's generally acknowledged that you've got one real solid starting pitcher who beats the better teams that you meet along the way in the tournament trail. But I think the teams that really go places are those that have that second starter who can get people out and get good teams out. And that appears to be the strength of this Oak Park River Forest club. 2 or 3 solid starting pitchers and a very fine defense. They have played errorless ball today.
They have a new pitcher, and it's the third baseman, Wolpert, Ron Wolpert, who I believe has thrown something like 2 innings in his entire baseball career. As we've reported many times, possibly ad nauseum, 4 players were thrown off this Lincoln team. 2 of them were their regular pitchers. They have only 2 guys who are pitchers on their team. They both worked yesterday for 3 innings, and they both worked today. And
well, I
a
like
lot of guts.
I like their spunk. Yeah, I think that's what you're saying, and I agree with you, Bob. You know, you get this far and something like that happens. It is demoralizing, and yet, hey, they showed up. They came to play, and they tried to force the issue early. They have just run into one heck of a pitcher in Pat McCune, who is on the second no-hitter in a row for the Oak Park River Forest Huskies, and you can't say anything but praise for that Husky ball club.
You certainly can. Here's Jeff McCormick stepping in.
Here we go. 8-0. Hit on the ground right side. Eimer cannot get it. Goes into right field. That's going to bring home the 9th run of the ball game for the Huskies on the single by Jeff McCormick.
Well, Eimer kind of waved at that ball. He didn't get in front of it. No bad hop or anything. It just maybe a realization that they've had a tremendous season. They've surprised a lot of people. They surprised their rivals, Griffin. They've surprised everybody here in Springfield by getting this far. And they've just run into an awesome team.
Here's Mark Carroll, who has singled and struck out twice, and he has made some fine plays at third base in preserving this no-hitter. Swung on, single to left field as Carroll pulled it in the hole between short and third. The runner, McCormick, will stop at second base. And there seems to be no end to the offensive arsenal of the Oak Park and River Forest Huskies. 14-hit attack now. They lead 9-0.
First half of this game was very close.
This is Mark Circlin coming up to the plate. He batted twice in that busy 5th inning, singling and lining to third. He also lined to center, so he is 1 out of 3 today as he stands in there with runners at first and second, 1 out, and Oak Park and River Forest leading 9-0. Check swing in there, strike 1 called. Marty Bell on deck. And it sure is beginning to look like the Huskies will be semifinal bound tomorrow against Bartonville, the team that was the runner-up last year. And that game will be carried right here on Cablevision of Chicago Friday at 6:30. Circlin stands in, 1-1 is the count, 1 out, takes the curveball away, it's 2-1. It's been a long day of baseball here in Springfield, 4 games, and there was some rain earlier this week, but no problem today. Hit in the air deep to right center field. Nobody is going to catch this ball. It is way out near the 375 sign. 1 run will score. Another runner is being waved around third. He will score. Here's the throw to third, and he is in there sliding with a triple. Mark Circlin with a 2-run triple, and I'm telling you, this team's offensive output has really been impressive, Bob. 11 runs now and 15 hits, and we're only in the 7th inning.
Well, when your 9th place hitter steps up and rips one to 375 mark, you know you got a machine.
Well, we're back to the top of the order with Marty Bell. Marty Bell is 1 out of 4. Takes inside a ball. He's playing right field this afternoon. He's done a very good job out there. Circlin at third with 2 RBIs and his 2nd hit of the ball game. 1 out. Grounded to the shortstop. There's going to be a play at the plate, and he's out sliding. Fielder's choice on the play for Bell. 6-2 if you're scoring it. And so there are 2 out with Bell at first. That'll bring up Jim McBride.
Mark was going in there trying to score, but you hate to see somebody go in head first against the catcher with all that equipment, because it's an uneven match.
11-0. Oak Park and River Forest leading Lincoln. Good pitch in there. Strike 1 called. Jim McBride is 0 for 3. He has a sacrifice fly and an RBI in this ball game. Takes low, a ball, even count, 1-1. Wolpert on the mound. As Bob said, not much experience on the hill. 1-1 pitch to McBride. Takes ball 2, and on deck, of course, second baseman Tom Hildebrand, who has been a dynamo today with 2 home runs, an intentional walk, and 3 runs scored. Wolpert delivers ball 3.
Well, this is awesome, a 4-run 7th inning, but it's also anticlimactic because I'm sure everybody here wants to see if McCune can pitch the first no-hitter, and it's begging the issue at the moment.
Fouled away down the left field line. Nobody will get to this ball, and it's a full count now. 3-2 to McBride. The runner will be going with the pitch. 2 out. A full count to Jim McBride, center fielder. Marty Bell standing at first.
You may wonder, of course, why ahead 11-0 with 15 hits, they don't pull the regulars, and I'll tell you why. I'm sure Jack wants to get this no-hitter, and he doesn't want the substitute fielders in at the moment.
Ground to the right side, a base hit past the diving second baseman Eimer. And now there's runners at first and third as McBride comes up with his first hit of the ball game. Bring up Tom Hildebrand, the strong-arm second baseman of the Huskies, who has homered, intentionally walked in the 5th, that big 5-run 5th inning, and he scored in that inning also. and was out on a fielder's choice. He's driven into, scored 3, and really was the catalyst in this ball game. As Bob said, it was a much different complexion for 4 innings. The 2 runs scoring on these runs. Takes the curveball over, strike 1. But then 5 in the 5th and now 4 in the 7th for the Huskies have put this one away. And the only issue now is, will McCune pitch another no-hitter for Oak Park River Forest? That would be 2 in a row, and I can't believe that that's ever happened before in the tournament. Inside, nearly got him. A ball, 1-1.
A no-hitter in the sectional title game. And there has never been a no-hitter in the final rounds. This is the quarterfinals, and it would be the first no-hitter in quarterfinal history, a double-A ball, if it can be nailed down in the bottom of the 7th.
Looking ahead, Lincoln will have the top of the order. Here's a fly ball to center. And Wolpert comes on, makes the catch, and that gets them out in the 7th. But the Huskies come up with 4 more runs on 6 hits. They leave a pair. At the end of 6 1/2, it's Oak Park and River Forest High School 11, Lincoln nothing. Well, that graphic tells the story. 0-0-2 for Lincoln as we head to the 7th inning. This is their last chance to break through on Pat McCune, and they are huddling down the 3rd base line.
And this is the drama right there. Pat McCune is 3 outs away from pitching a no-hit ball game in the quarterfinals of the Double-A state baseball tournament. That has never been done before. They have been playing this Double-A tournament since 1978. Since 1978, Chicago Marist was the Double-A championship team that year.
Now, Colzo has re-entered the lineup and is playing shortstop, and that's the rule we talked about. Of course, Jack Kaiser wants the no-hitter for McCune, and he has his good defensive shortstop out there.
I think that's, we alluded to that earlier, was he did not take his regulars out when they had the big lead in the 7th inning. He let them continue hitting because he didn't want to put a fresh man in who hadn't had the ball hit to him in the entire game and risk perhaps losing McCune's no-hitter on a play that surprised somebody.
Well, here's the only man who reached, Terry Wolpert. He led off the ball game and drew a pass, stole second, and then was picked off on a missed bunt attempt. And that is it. That's the only base runner against Mr. McCune in 6 innings of play here.
Well, Dick, I've done them in the major leagues. Have you ever done a no-hitter?
No, I haven't.
Well, bring this home, baby. It's a great thrill if you're a broadcaster. It really is.
Terry Wolpert leading it off in the bottom half of the 7th inning. McCune takes ball high, 1-1. It's not a perfect game. As we said, he walked the first man he faced. This man standing in, Terry Wolpert. But since then, he's retired everybody. Change, oh, tough pitch, and he did not get it. It's 2-1. Oh, show me something with that, Pat McCune. Limestone awaits the winner in the semifinals tomorrow. Fastball is high, ball 3, strike 1 count to Terry Wolpert, leading off the bottom half of the 7th. This is as far as it goes for Lincoln. They trail 11-0 and are still looking for the first hit. McCune, swing and miss, strike 2. He may have helped him a little, Wolpert going the opposite way.
And they're playing him to hit that way. They're very shallow on him. They're playing him as a spray hitter. He is the leadoff hitter.
Terry Wolpert standing in against McCune. Swings and misses at strike 3, and there's 1 out, 2 to go. McCune has struck out 5 batters in this no-hit bid. He has walked 1, and he was erased. And so, with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th, Ron Wolpert stands in. Takes ball 1 high. Wolpert took a called 3rd strike in the 1st inning, line to center field in the 4th. He's batting here with 1 out in the 7th. Hit in the air deep to left field. That ball is near, but it's going to stay in the ballpark. On the track, maybe caught.
Whoa.
On the track against the wall, Jeff McCormick with some green paint on that orange jersey, but the no-hitter is intact, and look at McCune.
A shy smile across the face of McCune on that. Let's take another look. This is as close as you can come and still have your no-hitter going. Here it is again. The big Ron Wolpert, a little guy, and he got it all. It was up high. The pitch was high and over the center of the plate, and the left fielder, McCormick, runs out of ballpark and makes the catch. Way to go.
One more, and Pat McCune will have pitched a no-hitter in the Double-A finals, the quarterfinals here in Springfield, on the heels of a no-hitter by teammate, shortstop Tom Colzo. This is unbelievable.
All of these teams are considered finalists. This is the final tournament round.
Ball 1. Hit on the ground to third. This could be it. Carroll throws. He's got a no-hitter. Pat McCune has no-hit the Lincoln Rail Splitters, and Oak Park and River Forest has advanced to the semifinals. They will meet Limestone tomorrow. Oak Park and River Forest wins it 11-0 on a no-hitter by Pat McCune, the second no-hitter by a Husky pitcher in this tournament. What a moment for these kids.
Well, he knew he had the no-hitter, too, as soon as he threw that pitch. And his third baseman picked it up. Carroll had the ball. He wasn't going to throw it away. And McCune gave a little hop on the mound. I don't know if you could see it because everyone was concentrating on the third baseman. But McCune made a little hop on the mound, put that right hand, punched the air, and said, boy, I got it. And he did. And he really earned it.
Good sportsmanship, as you saw. Both teams kind of like in hockey, where the lines trail each other and shake hands with everybody. A real good gesture by both teams. Lincoln, of course, as Bob has mentioned all afternoon, has been against it, and they're getting a standing ovation from their fans.
As I understand it, is their first coverage of high school baseball. You couldn't ask for a better game, especially for a home viewing audience that is concerned with the area. We hope we will be able to talk to our no-hit pitcher, Pat McCune. He is on his way up, and we will be able to talk to him somehow. We'll share a microphone or something. It's always interesting to talk to pitchers who have pitched no-hitters to find out when they realized and what was going through their mind. The old superstition about never mentioning the fact that the pitcher has a no-hitter going. In every no-hitter I've ever been associated with, they were the ones who were usually talking back.
Yeah, that's really true, Bob, because when you talk about a player, he has been thinking about it. The guys in the dugouts may be doing things in a kind of a superstitious manner, like maybe sitting in the same spot every inning in the dugout, that type of thing, but they know what's going on. And sometimes a player who is pitching the no-hitter will even crack a joke to relieve the tension and relax the ball club.
The only no-hitter I've ever was associated with or heard of where the pitchers didn't know they had a no-hitter was one year the Oakland A's had wrapped up the pennant early, and they were warming up for the championship playoffs in the World Series by, using their starting pitchers for 3 innings. And on the last game of the season,
right,
they had 4 pitchers combined for a no-hitter. None of them knew that there was a no-hitter going.
I'll bet nobody in the ballpark knew either.
Well, no, the people in the ballpark did, but, I think Vida Blue started that game, and he was gone in the 3rd inning. He threw the X number of pitches, and then I think it was Glenn Abbott or somebody came on, and he worked a couple innings. And whoever it was that went in last, he hadn't been paying attention. You know, he was a starting pitcher, not a relief pitcher. He was just out there to work and get ready for championship play. All of a sudden, he looks up, he's got a no-hitter going.
Well, we're getting the no-hitter over here, Pat McCune, the right-hander, who is still unbeaten, we might add. He came to the game unbeaten, and he leaves with a no-hitter in the quarterfinals of the state championship tournament, which is really quite an accomplishment. As we said, he struck out 5, and he walked only 1, and that was the leadoff man, Terry Wolpert, and Wolpert was erased on a subsequent rundown play. So, in effect, in the 7 innings, McCune faced the minimum 21 batters. And pitching the no-hitter, the second no-hitter in a row for the Oak Park River Forest Huskies. The shortstop in today's game, Tom Colzaw, had the other no-hitter, and he will be pitching tomorrow when the Huskies take on Limestone in the semifinals. Limestone, the runner-up in the state tournament Class 2A just a year ago. And we now have Pat McCune, who has joined us at the microphone.
I don't know if you know this, but you're the first young man in the history of this tournament to throw a no-hitter in the final rounds of AA competition.
What can I say?
What
I
can
got
you
a lot
say?
of help from the fielders.
Pat,
You
what
had,
did you think about when that ball went out in the 9th inning, the last inning on the left field, right on the fence?
I thought it was gone. Jeff McCormick did it. Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Did you feel that when it was hit, you wanted to grab the ball and get it back?
Oh, yes. I got it up too high. I should have thrown a deuce or something, curveball.
Were you thinking no-hitter throughout the afternoon?
After the 4th inning, I knew I had it, and I was just trying to do my best.
How were the guys on the bench to you? Were they mentioning it?
The last inning, they started mentioning, started razzing me about it, but, I knew it. I knew I had it.
When the last ball was hit to your third baseman and he picked it up, you kind of did a little hop on the mound, like, boy, I got it. But did it all?
Mm-hmm.
Did it just kind of?
I knew. I'm glad it was over. It's hot
Have you
out
ever
there.
pitched a no-hitter before?
Never before.
What about this Husky club? You've got a big game tomorrow, and then maybe Joliet Catholic.
Well, I don't think they'll be able to throw Grant against us because he threw 7 today, and I don't know. I think we could beat him because we got the best hitting club in the state.
Your hitting really is
It's
outstanding.
amazing.
I'd like to ask you one thing about your teammate. Colzo pitched a no-hitter his last time out. You guys now, between the two of you, have not allowed a hit in 14 innings of tournament play. Do you realize that?
Mr. Kaiser, our coach, the whole year he's been saying, if our pitching comes around, we'll be all right, and now it's come around.
Yeah, he talked about their defense and hitting coming into this tournament.
He said our pitching was the only thing that was the problem. If the pitching came around, we'd be all right.
What are you going to do now to celebrate this feat?
I'm going to go take a swim at the day's in.
All right, you've earned at least that. Thank you very much for coming up here.
Thank you. Congratulations, Pat.
Thank you.
That's Pat McCune, who is our no-hit pitcher, and that's 2 in a row for the Huskies. It's getting to be a habit, Bob.
Yes,
and
it is.
So
Give
Oak
that
Park
man a
and
hand.
River Forest, as the fans wait around for their no-hit pitcher, they advance, the Huskies do, to the semifinals against Limestone. Now, you're going to see that game tomorrow at 6:30 on Cablevision of Chicago. And, of course, if they advance beyond Limestone into the championship game, you will see that at noon on Sunday here on Cablevision of Chicago. And we are delighted to be bringing this tournament to you, the first of its kind. A lot of talk about television involving the state baseball tournament. And Bob Waller, as I said, what a way to break in, a no-hitter with a team that looks like it's going a long way.
Well, you certainly know why they are one of the 2 favorites in this tournament. And we'll be getting in, at least tomorrow, a little more on the coverage of Illinois high school. We hope to have a couple of guests between innings that will talk about the lack of coverage of baseball and what can be done to alleviate it. But you see a show like this, you see the young man, Pat McCune, that pitched today, and boy, it just, at any level of competition, you can really feel it.
Absolutely. It's a major achievement, and